All right, here we go again. It's about a brutal lesson I learned. So, we're taught to help others, right? To be kind, to be compassionate, to lend a hand when someone's down. It's a beautiful idea, no doubt. But what happens when that helping hand gets bitten? When the act of giving starts to break you? This is a story about a family I saw sleeping in an abandoned car, and the 6 months that followed. It's messy, it's painful, but it changed me. I hope it hits a note of resonance for you on your own path. So we were in the middle of the rainy season. I was walking, it was early in the morning. I saw a beat up car, fogged up windows, parked like it had nowhere else to go. Something told me to look closer. There was two small kids in the back and two adults in the front. A man in the driver's seat just staring into nothing. So I stopped, I knocked on the window, I was like, "Hey man, can I help you?" And he told me they were homeless, that they had permission to sleep in the car. He had a job and he was waiting to hear back on a place. I couldn't just walk away, so I called one of my cousins that lived alone nearby and asked him if they could borrow a room. He said yes. 3 weeks went by, I'd stop by daily to help out, see how they're doing, but my cousin started getting fed up. He was irritated. He said they were messy, they were inconsiderate, so I did the noble thing and I brought them to my house. That's when the veil lifted. I never saw it directly, to be honest with you, but I'm pretty sure the dad was twacked out on dope. He lost his job, the wife didn't come out of the room until 1 p.m. She didn't clean, she didn't help with the chores. My generosity started to curdle into frustration. I began waking them up early, telling them, the world is not going to come knocking on the door to help you. You've really got to go out there and figure it out. But they weren't looking. Their kids got into my coin collection and spent it on junk food. I was running out of money, trying to support them while my own life was unraveling. They were dirty. When they finally left, I had to throw out the mattress and the sofa bed. It was unsalvageable. I had to repaint the room. It was filthy. After 5 months, I hit my limit, so I gave them a month's notice. Told them, you guys have to go, I'm sorry. But instead of looking for a place, they were Christmas shopping. So I asked them, have you found a place? They said no. Like, so why are you buying toys? When you leave here on the 1st, are you going to carry blankets, necessities? Or are you going to carry action figures with you? Doesn't make any sense. It was like they weren't all there. They were disconnected from reality. But here's where the lesson started. I had a heartfelt conversations with them about responsibility, about appreciating the help they were getting, free food, free rent, but my words were just evaporating. So I ran out of money. I had to borrow money just to pay the internet so I could keep working. And that was the line. That's when I cut them off. I started keeping food in my room, toilet paper as well. I would catch them eating junk food like Doritos, and I would ask them, if you got money for Doritos, why don't you buy toilet paper? Harsh? Maybe, but it was the truth. So I bought beans and rice in bulk, and I told them, this I can share with you guys. The fruits, the vegetables, the healthy stuff, that's mine. If you choose to eat junk food instead of buying real food, that's on you. So I cut everything off on my end. I stopped eating meats, cereals, dairy. I had to cut my Netflix, my Prime Video, YouTube memberships, everything gone. And that was a blessing in disguise, to be honest. I realized I didn't need any of it. I got to a point where there was a 3-day stretch where I was waiting for my paycheck and I had no money, nothing. I had to eat limas from the tree in the backyard. That's what I ate. I had my first real taste of fasting during those 3 days. It was wet fasting and I was eating limas. But the experience cracked something open in me. Now, I fast twice a month. I do dry fasting, wet fasting. I changed how I relate to consumption, to need, to clarity. When the first of the month came, I had to enforce what I told them I would. I put their bags in the back of my truck, told them they had until the morning to get their stuff because I was going to need the truck. So I came home from work, their stuff was gone. I thought, okay, finally it's over. But then they came back. They asked if I had put their stuff in the house. I said no. They tried to sue me for losing their stuff. Stuff I had mostly bought for them. Wow. But the biggest shift wasn't about them. It was about my mother. The biggest takeaway from this experience for me was the relationship, how it changed with my mother. Because I would call her and tell her what was going on. She would tell me to kick them out, that they were lazy. And I would ask her, look, I didn't realize that as a kid we were homeless ourselves, you know. How did you do it with 4 kids? Like, I had no idea we were homeless. Every time dad went to prison and we had to go bounce around from place to place. And she was like, I didn't worry. I had faith in God and I knew I wasn't completely alone. I had family. I asked her what was the thing that worried her the most. She said it was me. As the eldest, I was a little troublemaker. I was jumping off roofs, getting into stuff. So the relationship with my mother, the conversations we have now are totally different prior to this family. So that's the biggest blessing for me out of this whole situation. Besides that, the stress, the drain. I'm not saying I'll never help people again, but next time there'll be ground rules right from the gate. There'll be boundaries, there'll be non-negotiables. My compassion has now a backbone, and sometimes that's the only way it can truly serve. If you ever overextended yourself, ever felt used after trying to help, man, I see you. If you caught something in my story I missed, drop it in the comments. We're all learning, and sometimes the universe teaches us through fire. It was worth the chair I'm sitting in today. That experience was priceless. It gave me clarity. It taught me about boundaries, about the difference between compassion and enabling. So yeah, along the path, I'm seeing that everything happens for a reason. And I'm going into deeper levels of that, like literally everything, from everything that happens. If you pay attention, either find the meaning that's obvious sometimes not so obvious, but we definitely need to pay attention. Everything that comes in front of us that we are aware of, for whatever reason, means something. So look into it, always dig deeper. Alrighty fellas, have a good one. Take care, till the next time.